Good afternoon, and I'm back today for a good topic. And the last time I talked to you guys about going to show you the steps on how to analyze paid t-tests. Okay, so we're back to do that. But before I go ahead with the video, can you guys please subscribe to my YouTube channel? Hit the subscription button below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like my videos and comment on my videos, okay? Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the paired t-test. So, and the paired t-test, so the paired t-test is different from two sampled t-tests, okay? So two sampled t-tests deals with two samples, but a paired t-test, which is the same thing as one sample t-test, deals with just one sample. It deals with pre and post. So a paired t-test and one sample t-test are the same, and a paired t-test simply calculates the difference between paired observations, e.g., like before and after, like I said, pre and post test. And then it performs a sample t-test on the differences. So we're going to look at pre and post test. So giving an intervention, right? Before you give an intervention, you take a pre-test, just like giving a test or a quiz in a class. So you give a test in a class. After you take the test, then you teach them how to read and how to study, then you give them a post-test. So you want to evaluate the knowledge that you instill to them. So like giving an intervention. So before the intervention, you give them a test. Then after the intervention, you give them another test. So you're basically pre and post-test basically calculate or it analyze or evaluate knowledge received. So that is the paired t-test. So paired t-test deals with before and after. So let me go ahead and share my screen on how to analyze your paired t-test using, what are we using? Using the SAS software, the statistical analytics software. Okay. Okay, let me stop to share my screen and go ahead and share my analytical software screen. Okay, so this is my software, the SAS software. Like I said, I don't have the downloaded version on my computer. I go straight from online. So as a student, you have access to SAS online, but I'm no longer a student. So I'm still using my student benefit. Okay, so before we start, like I said, I'm gonna impute my data manually, not exporting data. So since we're imputing our data manually, we just click on new and we click on SAS program. And then we get this page. So since we're doing paired t-test, so we're just gonna name our data, whatever thing you wanna name it. I'm gonna name it paired t-test. So which is gonna be data paired t paired t-test. I'm gonna name it for that. Then we'll go down. And then we'll input We're going to impute now, whatever we want to impute. So we impute, when we impute, then we look at, because I want to do a subject. So for example, we'll be doing a math subject. So before we give the student before we teach the students, we're going to give them a pretest. We want to evaluate their knowledge, and we want to know what class we're going to put each student, right? So in order for us to place the students in the right class, we're going to give them a pretest. Then after we give them a pretest, then we're going to teach them, and we're going to give them what? A post-test. So we want to what? Evaluate knowledge. Okay, so we do the subject, like I said, because we're going to do subject. Then since our subject, because we have different subjects, we have the English, the math. Since our subject is categorical variable, remember to put your $sign and space. Pre-test and post-test, because we're looking at pre-test and post-test. So we do pre-test, space, post-test, post-test, right? Okay. Then after that, we do our data lines, because like I said, I'm imputing the data manually. So we click data lines. So on data lines, we put in our data. So now we impute. So for example, I'm just going to say AD. Okay, let's copy and paste this instead. Okay, so AD, this is, okay. So in administrative, they scored, the participant scored 6, right? So we're doing pre and post test. So our pre-test scores were this. Before the intervention, before we start teaching the class, we give the students this, and the students score 6, 7, 9, 4, and 7. This is the what? The pre-test. So these are the subjects, and this is the pre-test, and this is the post-test, the post scores. Okay, so what do we do? Let's see if the space is right. Make sure it's right. Putting a semicolon down the space and wait the run. When you run our data, then we're going to see what's it like. Good. So then we should be having what? 5 observations, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 observations, and how many variables? 3 variables, because we have the subject, the pre-test, and the post-test. So that is 3 variables. So our data is right. So what is the next step for us to do? We want to run our data. We want to evaluate our pre-test and post-test scores. So we do proc test, then our data, right? Proc test. So we do proc test, proc t-test, then data. So we do proc t-test, then data. What is the name of our data? The name of our data is paired t-test. What's the name of our data? Paired t-test. And then we do, because we're pairing our post and pre-test, so we're pairing our pre-test and post-test. So we do this and you pair this. For test. So pre-test, then you put your star sign because it's the two, we need two columns. Your pre-test scores and your what? Post-test scores. So after you do your pre-test and post-test scores, then we run. So if you want to title anything, you can go ahead and title. So we run test score, and then you allow this to run. Okay. So I got an error because definitely I'm doing something all right. So proc ttest data should be equals to something here. Good. So data equals ttest. See, whenever you missed one thing, it's not gonna run. Your data is gonna run. So because I didn't have the equals to sign, so your data is not gonna run. Remember to put in your codes. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the data again. Okay, we're first going to run this. Okay. Then now we'll run our proc ttest data equals to paired t test. So we'll go ahead and run our data. Post. Okay. You see, this is the reason why my data wasn't running, because why? My pre-test, I spelled it right, 1T, and my post-test here is 1T, but on the right here, I had it double T, so it's not gonna run. So make sure whatever thing you put there, that is what you're gonna put there. So I'm gonna take away 1T. Then we can go ahead and run our data again. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so make sure you don't miss anything. If you miss just a singleton, a dot, or semicolon, or one of your alphabets, then it's not going to run. That is one thing about SAS software. Okay, let's go ahead and run the data. Okay, so it finally ran. Let me move it so we can see it. So we can go ahead and see what our data looks like. Okay, so we'll run our data. And after running the data, what we got here is there is a significance difference, because what? Our p-value is what? Lesser than 0.05. So our p-value is 0.04. So which is lesser or equal to 0.05. So we conclude that the mean of the memory technique for the student is significantly what? Different. Because after they take the pre-test and after they teach them the classes, then after they take their post-test, the scores were different. So you can see our standard deviation and then the mean. Okay. So this is our you analyze your paired t-test. So if you get a data and your data is pre and post test, so after you collect your samples, you just bring it to your SAS software and do this, input the subject or whatever thing you give them, and you put your pre-test and post-test. Then you data lines, you put all your data that you collected. Then you do proc test, data equals to paired t-test with your data name. Then paired equals to pre-test star your post-test, because it's those two tests you're evaluating. Then you run and you get your answer. So definitely there was significant difference between what the pre-test and the post-test, the main difference. Thank you. Please remember to subscribe, hit the subscription button below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and drop a comment, like my videos. Thank you.